Good day, guys. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing great. I've got something that I want to share with you guys. What happens when life gets hard? What happens when life knocks you between the eyes? What happens when the bullies of life come against you? What happens when the worst of the worst or the worst possible thing happens to you? How do you respond to that? How do you interact with that? How do you deal with the challenges of life when you don't know what your fate holds? When you don't know what decision to make, when you don't know what to do with it, when you don't know how to fight whatever it is that you're working against, right? Now, most of you grew up in families whereby when somebody beat you up out there, you could come to mommy and daddy and say, "Mom, someone knocked me between my eyes." And what your mom would and dad would do would go and fight the battles of you as a child. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that parents made, is that they fought your battles, right? Whenever life got hard, most of the time you could just go to mom and dad, say, "Listen, somebody hit me," and mom and dad would go and use their full capacity to fight with the bully, to speak with the bully, or speak with the parents of the bully, speak to the authorities, or whatever the case is. So most of you grew up in environments whereby if anything happened to you as a child, you could report to authorities. You could report to people, and those people would make things easier for you. They would fight your battles for you. And then you went to school, and guess what happened to school? We are being educated in a school system whereby the pass mark was once 50%, then it was 40%, became 40%. Why? Because it was hard. The educational system became too hard for them. Oh no. So because it's too hard for them, let's try to make it easier for them, right? Then what happens? They lower the pass mark, right? They lowered the pass mark, became 40%. And then at 40% again, no, the students are still struggling to get 40%. Life is so hard. It's so hard studying. It's so hard getting good marks. It's so hard getting good grades. And guess what happened? Right? They lowered the marks again to 30% pass mark. Now, for me, that means that the educational system, your parents at home, were teaching you that whenever life gets hard, what do? You report to authorities for them to make it easier for you. For them to make it easier for you. In other words, you don't rise up to the level of growth that is expected of you for you to rise up to the challenge. But all you do, you go and whine, you go and cry, you do what grandpa would call bitching. What does bitching mean? It is whining, it is complaining, it is, "Oh, life is too hard, life is too hard. No, things aren't easy for me. I can't afford it. I don't have it. It's too difficult." It's all of those stuff. And guess what? Success does not care. Now, these kids grow up to become adults who say they want to be successful, they want to be millionaires, they want to be rich, they want to make it in life, they want to make it big. But the one thing that they're never prepared for is that when you ask for big, my friend, you should expect big hits. You dare ask big, you get big hits. You dare ask small, you get small. Either way, the energy is the same. What one has to do, now this is the thing I always say about success, the standards and principles required for one to succeed will never lower themselves for you. So now these adults, these kids grow up to become adults who expect life to be easier, things to be made easier for them instead of becoming better. Earning R1 million does not mean that you don't have problems. Earning 10 million rand in a month doesn't mean you don't have problems. The problems get more, but the thing is, all you need to do is you are able to handle them much, much, much more better. So what am I trying to say? Don't ask for life to get easier. Don't ask for things to get easier. Get better. Success demands that of you. Life does not get easier, guys. You need to get better. The people who got retrenched this year and lost their job, possessions, cars, and houses, got retrenched because they stopped getting better. They stopped improving themselves, right? That's why their income was plateauing all the time. That's why they earn the same income every month. Why? Because they stopped growing. Your income is in direct proportion to your ability to grow self. You get paid for growing you, right? Very important thing, right? Let's talk about it in depth. Listen, when you wanted to be a school teacher, you got better. You didn't just, when you wanted to become a professional school teacher, you had to get better. What do I mean when I had to get better? You had to have good marks in school, right? And then after that, good enough marks that are good enough for you to get into to varsity. You get into varsity, what do you have to maintain? Good enough marks. You had to study. Did you feel like studying? No. Was it always easy securing that degree to become a professional school teacher? Hell no. Were you always feeling like it? Did you feel like studying? No. What did you do? You rose up to the level and the demand required for you to secure that degree. Why? Because rising up to the level meant that you were going to earn the income of a professional school teacher. And that your life was going to be better, that your income was going to be able to get a job. Somebody fails once, experiences one tough challenge, and then, this thing doesn't. No, this is hard. Life is hard. The old thing go, life gets harder. But yours is to get better. Why? Because when you get better, solving the problems becomes easier. Why? Because you have the solutions. You are well able. So what am I trying to say to you guys? What I'm trying to say to you guys is build yourself up. Gird yourself. Build your stature. For your financial status to change, your mental status first has to change. Before you earn an income of a doctor, your mental status has to come into solving health problems for you to earn the income of a doctor. You did not focus on the income first. You focused on getting better. 7 years after grade 12, dude, of having to get the highest marks required for you to become a professional doctor. Did you do that because you feel like it? Did you do that because you always felt motivated? You always felt inspired? Oh no, you were always inspired to become a doctor? Hell no. You did what had to be done. You did what's necessary. And that's what successful people do. Successful people do what has to be done. Successful people do what the game requires of them. Right? Nothing to do with your emotion, nothing to do with you being inspired or you're feeling like it. Listen, you think your parents, when they worked on the job, they didn't like that. They worked because they were inspired. They did all that because they were motivated. No, they had a stronger reason why they had to keep going. They had a bigger reason why it was important for them to succeed. They had a bigger reason why it was important. Listen, we're living in tough times. We're living in times where now we're talking about COVID. We're living in very interesting times. And it's people who rise up to the challenge who will make the most money. It's people who are open-minded and are willing to invest in improving themselves, not the situations around them. Listen, you can't change the fact that the COVID and the virus is out there. You can't change that people are going to lose jobs, but you can change yourself. And by changing yourself, you put yourself in a position to make more money, right? And guess what? Everybody who whines and cries, no, the government this, the government doesn't care. You're not solving the problem. You are actually not becoming part of the problem. You're becoming part of the problem. It's a very important thing that you realize, that you need to learn, that if you are setting yourself up for success, if you are saying you're going far in life, if you have dreams and ambitions for you to succeed and do great things and do amazing things, always work on the most important project. We call it Project Self. Project Self is the highest paying project. If you get better, you put yourself in a position to earn more. Right? So, what do you do when life gets hard? You keep knocking. Keep knocking on doors. You make the phone calls. You meet the people. You build the relationships. You keep knocking on doors. You just keep going. You just keep going. You continue to take massive action. Successful people take massive action, right? Successful people take massive action. And that's the only way to get better, guys. You never about kind of educating yourself, never about kind of growing yourself. When you grow, your life gets better, right? One of my mentors said that we get paid in direct proportion to our mind's ability to facilitate or capacitate or solve problems. Now, in closing, what problem am I solving? Is it high paying? If it's not high paying, dude, stop solving that, get better. Solve bigger problems. Solve bigger problems. When you look at your financial statement every month, it's a reflection of the quality of problems you've solved that month. Can it get better? Of course. Of course it can get better. Can you get better? Of course. Right? So what do I do when life gets hard? I just keep knocking. I just keep knocking. In fact, I think I work harder when life gets hard. There's a saying that I've got where I say, progression, for your life to progress, you need to experience depression. Progression follows depression. There is no progress without depression. In other words, your life does not get better without challenges, right? Embrace your challenges. If all of us were to sit down together and discuss our problems and challenges that we're going through in life, we all walk away feeling like, actually, I think my problems are fine. I'll take my problems away. Right? Stop bitching.